Hey guys, Isaac here with Team 4Runner. Today is a real big day. Behind us, we have the 6th Gen 4Runner, a Tier D off-road trim level. And we also have Andrew from Toyota, the man behind a ton of our videos, here to explain really everything you need to know about the 6th Gen. We're gonna talk styling, we're gonna talk drivetrain, we're gonna talk, comparing it to Tacoma and Land Cruiser and all the things. And Andrew's the expert on it. So Andrew, thank you so much again for helping us out with this video. Really appreciate your time. Let's kick it off and just tell us what's new, what's changed, high level, 6th Gen 4Runner.
All right, well, first of all, we're gonna start off with, I am not the expert.
I think you are.
I wanna lower this bar as low as it can be.
You know more than anybody else I know.
Well, I appreciate that. This vehicle is completely different and all the same time, right? We spent a lot of time on Land Cruiser, we spent a lot of time on Tacoma, you're driving one all the time, right? So the conversation with you is a little different than other people who are coming out of a 5th Gen. So we had 5th Gen for a seemingly long time. Very good vehicle, which is great, and bad because we don't want to change it because it works just fine, right? And I think the core items is when we brought this 6th Gen vehicle, it changed to the TNGA F platform, right? You know that we were doing different platforms like K platform on all of our different models, and slowly one by one we brought them on. So now we've got all of our body on frame vehicles onto this F platform. Totally, I mean, from the frame design, the rigidity of it, the suspension, everything is important, as you just mentioned. It's huge, right?
Huge improvements.
And what is the highlight for me is the powertrain, right? So the powertrain kind of goes with the TNGA platform. So now we get a nice 2.4 liter turbo, right? And a lot of people, oh, I love the V6. We lost 2 cylinders. This thing's probably slow. And we can all look at the specs and all those things, but understanding, like, just driving one, it's an immediate difference, right?
It is night and day. Like Andrew said, I've been driving a Tacoma for almost a year now, and I was in the same boat. I'm like, I cannot believe we're driving 4 cylinders.
Right.
And then I drove the Tacoma non-hybrid up I-70, and the rest was history.
Even if you get the same fuel economy as you used to get, it's not a dog. So you're getting a much more enjoyable drive, and that goes into what we're trying to do with this. We're trying to take an iconic, well-built, usable vehicle and bring it to 2025 standards. Because from the head unit to the transmission, they're great, but you feel that you're driving a dated vehicle.
100%. You jump into a 5th Gen, especially after jumping into this or a new Tacoma or a new Land Cruiser, and you're like, holy buckets. I'm jumping into a 2014. Like it's just old. It's just old. I mean, like you said, it's an unbelievable truck, forever will be. It's just old.
So from a quick summary snapshot from the platform, what we've changed, we have our Dejima welding frame, which is specific thicknesses of blanks, laser weld together and then formed. So we get more rigidity and less weight. That keeps our multi-link rear that we had, obviously coilovers in the front, just like we know from 5th Gen, but we changed to an 8-speed automatic, so we gained 3 gears compared to our 5th Gen. Which I know people are like, oh, more gears, more problems. No, it's just really nice. That's what it is. And then we still have our part-time 4-wheel drive. We obviously have some models that, just like 5th Gen, Limited was not part-time, we had that full-time. And then we have the 4-cylinder in a conventional and a hybrid. So we have the iForce is our engine what's in here, non-hybrid, and then we have the iForce Max. So mirror copy of what we see on Tacoma. And that's, to me, is like the biggest change, right? That is what makes the most noticeable difference. And the rest is kind of slowly adding in a little bit of change here, right? A little bit of body change. Our track width is a little wider. We're seeing some of those differences that add into the total package. And actually something that's really cool is we have a sort of a speaker in the headliner that is active sound control. So that helps to sound deaden. Instead of just like filling this thing with asphalt and tar to sound deaden, we can have some noise cancellation like you have in your headphones in the vehicle, which again is bringing it to today's standard. There's such nice vehicles on the road now that when I drive a body on frame SUV, I don't want to give all that up. We're finding ways to implement that into the vehicle.
Cool, the technology.
Totally.
Wow, that's huge. All right, next up, Andrew, run us through the styling. Obviously, this truck has changed so much.
Right.
It's completely different than 5th gen. If you can, start us on the front, and let's just run down the side.
Have some distinct styling differences from Tacoma, which is nice, right? We
Yep.
see this on Tundra and Sequoia, where Tacoma Tundra is kind of one large opening, and this one's kind of two separate ones, just like Sequoia. So we at least have some differences between them. But
cool.
overall, you see like a lot of Tacoma in the front of the car.
For sure.
Right? A-pillar, all that shape is very much someone
Yeah.
cut off the front part of Tacoma and stuck it on this.
For sure.
Which is part of that TNGF platform, personal opinion. I think that is a big portion of it. Now, we also get really cool emblems inside the headlights, just like we saw on Tacoma and
Lots
on
of
Land
little Easter
Cruiser.
eggs.
I love that,
Yeah.
right? It took no extra effort to just put that in the casting, and I think it looks great.
For sure.
We also have fog lights. We've got the rigid dual color as well on the higher trims.
Yep.
So some of the stuff that we're seeing from Tacoma, we've got a little bit larger fenders here.
If I can, I love this bump
Yes.
out. See this on
Yes.
Tacoma. You even see it a little bit on Land Cruiser.
Yeah,
It's a nice aggressive look.
yeah.
Obviously fit bigger tires as well, but this just looks proper.
So the overall theme is Baja inspired.
Yeah.
Which
Yep.
Exhibit A,
Yep.
right?
It's really
And
sharp.
We still have our plastic cladding on here. Again, this is like, do I want to touch this first or this first? I want to touch this first because this is replaceable,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, just
A little
couple
bit of
clips,
protection.
pull them off.
Yeah, and I think it helps accentuate some of these body lines,
Yeah.
right? So when we come back to here, and we saw it on the front as well, we've got our cameras. So another big creature comfort improvement. Was it required? No, you're doing just fine without it. But getting bird's eye view, getting all the off-road views, like seeing where my wheels are and what's right underneath the front of the car, really, really nice. So with multi-terrain monitor, we're getting cameras all around the car.
Yep.
And if you don't have multi-terrain monitor in like a limited or platinum, you're gonna have PVM. Same idea, but you get some additional views with multi-terrain monitor.
And I think it's one of those things, you got to experience it.
Yes. We're just trying to get past this wet spot. All right, so we'll move the car around because we have very intense light in this direction.
Yes.
It's
Being in Colorado is great, but
Yeah.
it's always sunny and blue skies, which is amazing,
Yes.
except for when you want to film.
bingo. But also, we're glad we're not out here last week when it was like 10 degrees.
Oh, this is like 65 today.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, 62.
Dude, there was a foot of snow on the ground like yesterday.
Right.
I don't get it.
I know.
Anyway.
It's all
Yeah,
exciting.
I'll take it.
That's why we flipped it around.
I'll
okay,
take it.
that's what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So when we come to this rear quarter panel, what's it remind you of, Isaac?
Don't
looks familiar?
quiz me.
I'm tired of being the only one getting quizzed.
This to me is like this is the biggest thing on this truck.
Yeah,
You take this away and I don't know what replaces it.
yeah,
This window is heritage, it's throwback, it brings to me just brings the first and second and honestly 3rd gen back into this truck.
right.
Obviously, you get the rear roll down window and all that stuff, but this window is huge for me.
Yeah,
Obviously, the most notable is 1st gen 4Runner. It's really cool at launch. They had this and the 1st gen side by side. You could see, the window resembles it really, really clearly. I think it's really cool Toyota played back into that. They remember their heritage really, really well.
yeah.
Brought it right back in. And
That's why I brought
It's
a
really neat.
4-cylinder back too. That's our heritage.
hey, there you go. Seriously though, and gave it like 10 times more power.
When people are like, "Oh, it's a 4-cylinder," I'm like, "All right, man. I've already done the 22 RE game. That's no problem for me. Now it's got boost."
Love that. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of this window for sure.
I think
Yeah.
it's also nice because when's the last time we've had anything other than a flat pane of glass on a
Yeah.
vehicle?
Yeah.
Right. This is, I don't want to say it, but like the last modern vehicle I've seen with a curve around there is like a Land Rover.
Yeah, long time ago.
Right?
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we have that back. I also like the body lines that kind of
Me too.
accentuate that it's there.
Yep, it's kind of a push in.
But then
Yeah.
this is here, on your C-pillar, so
Yep.
you're comfortable. You know exactly where to look for what the
Exactly.
vehicle is, just like the 5th gen.
Absolutely.
And then as you mentioned, when we come around to the back, we've got a lot of similarities. Taillights, there's a lot of similarities for 5th gen. I personally like how tucked up in and what this looks
Yeah.
like for our rear
It's real clean.
wiper blade. And then we've got the rear window up and down, which is what everybody, right?
That's
what,
fast.
That's what everybody wanted. I know.
think that's fast.
It's 2025, man. We can't have slow windows. Now, I apologize for the dirt. It got delivered. I took the wrap off and we got to work on this thing, trying to get it ready.
I mean, there was a foot of snow yesterday, so.
That's right, that's
yeah,
true.
It's a good excuse.
And it looks good dirty, right?
Absolutely.
It's fine. Now, obviously this color, some people may be unfamiliar with. This is underground.
Yeah.
So this came out when we launched Tacoma and we still had 5th gen.
Yep.
So we've got that 1 year of a certain color.
Just kind of cool.
Yeah, the people who got them, they're like, sweet, I locked it in. We really like this color, but we also added Everest. It's shown with our Trail Hunter, but it's available on our off-road grades, which I'm really happy about.
Oh, it is? You can get Everest in an off-road?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Which again, if we're tying back to the heritage thing, right? We've got back to 4 cylinders, which I love, a wraparound old school window, which I love, and now how long has it been since we've had a metallic green?
For sure.
Not lime rush.
Yeah.
Metallic green.
I remember, it's not at all like Everest, but I remember 5th gen. I believe the first iteration of 5th gen.
Yeah.
There was and I think you get in 2nd gen Tacoma. I think
Okay.
it was called Spruce Mica.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a metallic green. Again,
dark
not
green.
like Everest.
Yeah.
But for a couple years, we kind of had a green.
Right.
Which again was like a throwback to like, late 90s Toyotas.
Totally.
Sick.
But we still had to wait like 10 years of no green. I'm really excited about it. Obviously, it would have been awesome to get this in it, but
Yeah.
I'm just happy that we've got like a good, bright metallic green again.
Yeah.
So back here as well, you'll see we've got 2 cameras. This again is that technology, making it convenient. So when you fill up the back of your car and you can't see anything, some of our models have a digital rearview mirror, which again, from the passenger vehicle standpoint, you're like, oh, what's so special about that?
Yeah.
But we're talking about the car that didn't have any of the technology, right? So just bringing it in line with what we see on other vehicles. And then as well, you probably noticed front and rear bumper, we've improved those approach and departure angles.
Yep.
Again, trying to focus on who is using this car,
Yep.
right? I don't want to have to do a Viper cut
Yes.
to clear things
Oh,
and
man.
not scratch on that,
Yeah.
right? So we've got nice big wheel wells, just like we see on Tacoma,
Yep.
and we've got clear approach angles and departure angles, so you can really just get out and use this thing
Yep.
without having to mount all of these things and cut stuff up. Just
Yep.
a little bit more aggressive tires, whatever you're doing, and you've got great clearance. All right, so if we come up to the front, Isaac is gonna see that this is extremely familiar for him, right? We've got our TRD labeling here on our interior panel, and the whole center console, the gauge, the dash is all very much Tacoma, which is perfect. It is great. We like how it's set up, don't need to change it. So we're gonna have obviously some slightly different buttons like our rear hatch button here, which we don't have on our Tacoma, but overall it's gonna be a very similar cockpit to what our Tacoma has, and you'll see that because Isaac's Diet Mountain Dew is even in the center console. That's how familiar it is to him and his Tacoma. Okay, so I started up the car. Hopefully it's not too loud in here, just to get everything lit up. But again, you can see we've got our drive mode control down here, some multi-terrain select, crawl, downhill ascent control. We've got our transfer case selection, so from part-time 2 high to 4 high to 4 low. We've got our Qi wireless charger. We've got USB-Cs now, we're up to date, right? No more A's. And then we've got additional one up here for when we're plugging in directly to the head unit rather than using wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, and if that's what you're into. And then again, everything is the same. We've got our center diff, or our rear diff lock is here. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up because that's where the Land Cruiser has a center diff there. We've got a rear locker here. We've got our view button so we can see and play with our cameras. And then this one actually also has some of our towing features built into the vehicle, like our trailer brake controller here, which is really nice. So basically everything that you've seen on Tacoma, we've duplicated and put into here with some minor changes, like for our back hatch, as well as our auxiliary switches are different. We don't have any on 4Runner like we do on Tacoma. But it's nice that I can come into this vehicle and I see all the same buttons that are standard really across all of our TNGA-F platform with our 3.0 TSS systems, our JBL speakers, all of that stuff. So very familiar and up to date and modern. This vehicle is our TRD Off-Road Premium, and obviously we see a lot of SR5s. You've got an SR5. So really our core differences in those vehicles, when we're talking about the gas model, is having our multi-terrain select and associated software and our rear differential and some of those off-road specific features. But the core of the vehicle, the rest of it is very similar, screen size change for audio multimedia and JBL change. but exterior wise and interior wise, it looks extremely similar. So what is neat about this, and you'll notice this again on your Tacoma, but multi-train select and crawl control, what we've done with the brake control, the actuator, is gone to something that's much more adjustable. So it's not just check balls moving open and sounds and feels very violent. It's much more smooth and controlled, and we have better control of the engine. So again, I'm sure there's people who are like, I don't need that, I can drive just fine. And it's not to say that you can't do it, but it's another tool in the toolbox where if you're in a situation and you're struggling to get traction, if you've sunk your wheels down into the sand, try out those modes because they're incredibly proficient at what they're designed to do. We have a drive team that we use to help us with our trainings, and I got a text from him and he said, I was really mad I couldn't get up this muddy hill, and I'm like, I don't need that system. He went and put it in that mode and it went up just fine. He was just mad because he knew that it added value to it and that it replaced what he thought he could do, right? So this is all to add to the skills and abilities of what you have to enable you to utilize the vehicle in more situations. Not to say you're incompetent of doing that and you should only rely on this system. It's another tool in the toolbox.
What's next?
All right, so we already saw our fast moving rear window. Willow's gonna love that.
Yes.
But something else that I want to show you is the back hatch, which you're like, that's not impressive, what are we doing here? An electronic rear hatch is really nice.
Sure.
So that's something that we've done. You can lock out how high it goes in case you've got a lower garage door, but again, adding some more feature and value to the vehicle. Now that this is open, you've probably noticed A, this deck is a little lower than the Land Cruiser,
Yep.
and B, I have now filled up that extra space in the vehicle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is all this stuff?
Yeah. So, as you know, Toyota's been really trying to get more accessories available for our customers so
Yeah.
that from the dealer, I buy this car and I've got everything that I need, right? And that's the inspiration for Trail Hunter and
Yep.
TRD Pro, and saying it's fully built out of the gate to go and use it how you want it. So
It's huge.
this is part of that expansion of accessories.
Okay.
So we've got fridge slides, we've got fridge, we've got chairs, we've got table, we've got drawer sets that are not bolted
Dang,
in,
look
right?
at this.
We've got a water jug in here. All of this stuff is available from the dealer. So when you come in, you can have it fully set up, everything under one payment. And to me, I love the drawers because it comes with a Milwaukee in it. Because I get the organization that we're looking for.
Yeah.
And they attach using the tie-down straps. So we're not bolting this in, drilling holes.
Yep.
It's something that if you really don't want this in here because you're gonna take some other stuff, unhook it, grab your buddy and pull it out and move on.
It's huge.
We've even got some charging options here. So we've got a Zamp solar
Wow.
panel that goes
Dang.
with the Dometic battery.
That's crazy.
So really how this is set up, you can toss food and some supplies in here and be gone for a weekend, it's no
Right.
problem. So we're trying to listen to what people want and design the car around that, and then also give them
Yeah.
all the accessories that they're looking for. We're never gonna have everything,
Yeah.
right? But giving them some reasonable options to say, hey, I can kind of get this all dialed and set up from the dealer and move
Yeah.
on.
So I can buy my 6 Gen from the dealer and buy all this from the dealer.
Yeah, and it's
have
all
it dealer
under,
installed.
and it's all under one finance.
Wow.
So instead of paying 29% interest on my credit card after, it's just all put together.
I mean, they have a drawer system that you can buy from the dealer. It's pretty neat.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's like long time coming, really cool.
It's what the people want.
Yeah, for sure. And this is you've set this up really nice.
Thank you.
Like the Dometic, the new CFX, the nice slide, the Yakima drawer system. I love kind of the single and the fridge with the chairs on here, and you got the tie down points, so you can strap these in, and it looks proper.
I appreciate taking credit, but also it only fit one way.
Sure.
So.
I don't know. I mean, you kind of got to have an eye for like what works, and this is cool. It's clean.
It's nice because there's a lot of space that you can fit there, but I still have
Yeah.
space to stick long items on
Yeah.
the side. I got the poles for the awning over there.
Yep.
And then I still have these cubbies, right? So if you've got dirty boots, if you've got
Yeah.
all that little last minute cram it in there, I can get to it from the back window and it's just in that little corner.
Yeah, it's huge.
So it's
Super cool.
It's a nice setup. I'm definitely excited to get out there. Like I said, I
Wow.
took this truck, took the wrapping off of it and got to work getting this all put together so we can experience and see how it fits in this vehicle.
And this leverage, it's all tied down with the OEM tie down points.
Yeah.
I mean, this is impressive.
I mean, I haven't filled it with food yet, but
Still,
you know, hopefully
yeah.
only another 20 pounds or so.
To have nothing drilled.
Yes.
And then if you need, like, you're gonna throw a couple dogs back, you need to pull all this out.
Yes.
Super. It takes 5 minutes to pull it all out.
And what's cool is like these are
That's-
even modular, so I could literally unscrew these 4 bolts and pull it out.
That's insane.
Or if you have a friend, you know, I'm gonna drag you over to my house
Yeah.
and we both pull it out.
That's neat.
It actually sits so it's all, you know, remember on 5th gen it was flat and then it kind of curved down to the base of the seat?
Yep.
Same sort of situation, but all 4 feet perfectly fit
Oh, cool.
on the flat area, and the gate closes and it's, you know,
Sure.
half an inch. So
Sure.
I don't want to say it's designed to fit back here, but it's pretty stinking close.
Yeah, that's cool. That's neat.
So
So you got all these accessories, and I can't help but notice there's a ton of stuff on the roof.
the wind resistance up top.
All right, so what is all this stuff, and why is it on this truck?
Well, I tried to take a page out of Isaac Van Essen's notebook in Team 4Runner, and the roof rack is the foundation of a vehicle.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe that, right?
Yeah.
I know I don't have a lot of stuff up there, but the ability to mount things because we have one is so great. So we have a couple of options. It came with crossbars, right? There's functionality there. This vehicle, actually, we increased the static and dynamic load. So dynamic is 160 pounds and static is 700 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, so
700 pounds.
on the roof.
Wow.
So
Okay.
again, listening to what customers are asking for, I'm like, thank you. This is exactly
That's cool.
what we wanted. So thankfully, we've got some approved ones like Prinzu racks available. We've got them available for Land Cruiser and Sequoia.
Yep.
And that full length rack allows all of that fitment that we're looking for items. So you can see we've got a Kamek awning on here. Really excited about this to not have to put poles down. And it takes up the entire length of the rack, right? So it helps us with a lot more of the accessories that we've been wanting to have, roof tents, traction boards, things like that.
Yep.
We also offer WeBoost antennas on here.
Cool.
So try to keep people fed well with fridges and in communication and all of those things, right? We took all the creature comforts in the vehicle and we're also allowing the expansion of that at the dealership. So the accessories team has done a really great job of finding brands, working with them, figuring out what those contracts look to say there's a part number available, the dealership can order it, and we can build it out for your customer's vehicle. So
we got Prinzu Pro, full length rack, awning, Dometic tent,
Dometic
traction
tent.
boards,
Yeah, eventually a
WeBoost.
WeBoost will be up there.
And I can get it all from the dealer,
Yeah,
dealer installed, just like that.
yeah.
Buy the truck, finance the accessories, drive off the lot, hit the trail, go camping.
And if you're like, if you don't like camping, Isaac, I'm looking at you.
I mean,
We've got all the Yakima.
Yeah.
We've got other brands that are coming on that are going to be mounting on there. You're going to put bikes up there, canoes, fishing poles, right? So it's the whole gamut. This one's aimed more at what I like to do.
Yeah.
Have some shade, sleep overnight, and be prepared.
Absolutely.
But we've got all those options out there. Big brands, ARB, you saw the Weekender kit in the back there for recovery. So really nice that we're expanding it so much that now you actually have to choose, right? Which one do I like instead of here's the one option.
Yeah.
So it's really great. I'm happy to see this. It's not a requirement for anyone, but just saying here's more options for you right out of the gate.
And the added utility versus like a roof, you know, basket or crossbars, like it's just, it's huge. And it just looks good.
Yes.
It looks proper.
Yeah.
These trucks need a full length rack.
Yeah. Isaac almost wasn't going to do this video until I told him there was a rack on it.
Okay. Okay.
So up underneath here, we added the TRD skid plate as well as a center plate on here. There's a couple of different options, but we like the traditional TRD. And then we're waiting on some rock rails to put on the side. So we've got a lot of cool armor options as well. So again, protecting the vehicle, giving you options to get out of situations with technology. And then on top of that, we've got systems like ARB and their recovery kits to help you in a sticky situation.
Well, this was great. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew, for showing us around the 4Runner.
Of course.
This, like I said, it's a big year.
Yes.
For 4Runner folks.
Yeah.
We've been anticipating this for a really long time. So thank you so much again. Really appreciate your expertise and your wisdom and your knowledge, all things Toyota.
Anytime.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next video.
Perfect.